Hi. So hello, welcome. This week's theme, I wanted to say a few words about it. I've called it moving from the changing to the changeless. It's quite a key, quite a fundamental concept for us as yoga practitioners. If we want to move beyond the physicality of yoga practice, but also it's quite pertinent at this time of year from an Ayurvedic perspective. So life is always changing, right? It's always in flux. But as if we're practicing or following the teachings of Ayurveda, when we come to the major seasonal junctures of the year, so in particular when the the nights are turning and the days are turning, so that the days are no longer than the nights, we start to travel the other way. So here in autumn, as we approach autumn, the nights are going to start becoming longer than the days. And then vice versa in the spring, when spring arises and the days start to become longer than the nights again. So this creates some kind of need for adjustment and change and shift within us. So that brings with it its challenges, and Ayurveda understands that. And particularly at this juncture we're approaching, because not only are we in kind of this change being created within us through the nature of seasonal junctures and our body having to make shifts and everything to them, but also the fact that the season we're approaching, the autumn season, is what we call a Vata season. So Vata is one of the doshas or humas of Ayurveda. And it's made up of the air and ether elements. And so it has within it the qualities of those elements. So air moves, right? It's the one of the elements that is volatile, has the capacity to really move. So and this is therefore one of the attributes of Vata dosha, movement. And so it means that when Vata dosha goes up in our environment, as with the changing seasons, we are not islands, we're affected by it. So it's also going up within us. And Vata has that quality of movement. So it means there can be more movement within us. What does that mean exactly? It means, for example, the nervous system. The nervous system can become a little more unstable, maybe. And then the mind also can be fed by that. So maybe we find we're feeling a little more sensitive, a little more restless, maybe also a little more tendency to worry or towards anxiety in the mind. And also with that, as we know, comes, maybe more difficult sleep. Maybe some of you have spoken to people. I've been finding it this week as well. You're finding you're waking up in the early hours of the morning. So, and there are reasons from an Ayurveda perspective that we awake at particular times of the night. So this week, as one of the classes, inspired by this theme, I want to offer a webinar on sleep, on insomnia, why we find it difficult to sleep, what antidotes we can give from an Ayurveda perspective, and also some yoga practices. The two also always interact. And also over the coming weeks and months, I also would like to address, other symptoms related to the increase in Vata dosha, things we want to be cautious of as the seasons turn. Another quality of attribute of Vata dosha of air is it's dry, right? We use air to dry things. So that's one of its qualities. So it can create dryness in us. Maybe you're finding your skin is dry. Maybe some of you tend towards like a dry mouth, dry eye. Also, then for some of you, particularly if you have a Vata in your constitution, in your Ayurveda type, you're really more likely to notice these things that I'm talking about. Maybe even constipation, if you tend towards it, you might find, I haven't really changed my diet, but it's getting worse, and the stool is hard, or maybe we get those kind of rabbit pellet-like stools. So these are all signs for you to take care. And even though they may be small things, they're not things to ignore. Because from an Ayurveda perspective, when the doshas go up, these are like the first stages, the stage being set for disease, for more symptoms. So we mustn't ignore them. We take them as messages from the body, from our energy system, to make necessary shifts through our diet, through our lifestyle, even through our yoga practice. So on Saturday, I'm going to offer a yoga class for pacifying Vata dosha. But in pacifying the Vata dosha, we come back, if I can just go back to the very beginning, to that key principle of yoga practice, which is to build steadiness and stability. So the Yoga Sutras teach us that yoga is steadying the fluctuations of the mind. This is what yoga is about. And so as yoga practitioners, we turn to Ayurveda to balance the doshas so that we support that steadiness in the mind, as well as the health in our body, you know, so that we can sustain our practice. Even if we're not so committed to a yoga path, still things that we want to give our time and attention to, right? For our well-being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. When we balance Vata dosha, we build sattva. So sattva is the Sanskrit word which translates as light, purity, equilibrium, and like a level-headedness, which is really what we want to cultivate if we are to progress on the yoga path. So the theme kind of intertwines both the Ayurveda and the yoga in a way that I love, and I hope in a way that you'll come to love too, so that it's pertinent to what's going on right now in our bodies and our minds as an effect of the season, and to the bigger picture of our life as we endeavor to evolve and grow, perhaps through the path of yoga. Please join me. I'll put links below the contacts, below the video, so that you can ask for links to join the classes. And please ask any questions you have about Vata dosha or any symptoms, because I would love to answer with a practice or a written piece. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.